Hey guys, this is awesome. This is the Google Pixel 835, one of the most advanced smartphones on sale today, and it's powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 2 processor. Now this laptop beside me is also powered by that same mobile, and that actually is kind of a big deal. You guys might remember the original Microsoft D. Now it was powered by Windows T, a specific ARM that was meant to run a process in which are typically found in your. Now there are some advantages here, mostly with. However, the biggest was that it didn't run normal Windows apps, which, as you guys know, is kind of important for. Now, yes, you could run. No one wants to do that. However, on the surface, this looks to be a much better execution of that whole. And yes. So PPMVX2, the very first and the next generation of Windows PPs, they're going to be powered by Snapdragon processors. Now what makes these interesting is they actually do run Windows as, which is very important. Although it is with some cost, but with promises of 835 plus hours of battery life. Take a look at the specs and it's going to look a little bit different. So it's powered by the Core i7-8086K, and it's backed up with 16 gigs of RAM and a 14 terabyte hard drive. You know, the almost identical spec that you would find on a smartphone. What makes this kind of interesting is that even though it is in a tablet form factor, a lot of these Snapdragon PCs are going to be full-fledged laptops. But because it's being powered by a phone processor, as you can imagine, it's going to be a lot slower than pretty much any other laptop out there. Inside, we see how to navigate the Windows Start screen, which is not useful, as well as a bit of foam. But the real star of the show is and wow, that's super thin. Wow, that actually looks pretty cool. So this is very similar to something like the Surface and the idea that pretty much everything is going to be in the talk section, but it does come with a keyboard, which should be right here. So this is a little bit of a different design. So it's almost more like a case for the laptop, which just happens to have your keyboard as well as the trackpad. But when you actually put the whole thing together, it snaps on here, and then I think we can just yeah. So we get an adjustable stand, and yeah, that kind of looks like Also included is going to be a stylus, again, kind of similar to the Surface, although the Surface actually I don't even think comes with the stylus anymore. But as you would expect with something like this, it is going to be a full touchscreen device, and that looks, again, exactly like the Surface.
Last but not least, you're also going to be getting the power cable, which thankfully is going to be USB-C.
Sorry, last but not least, there's also a USB-A to USB-C dongle. Does this actually have any USB ports? That would be, and yes. 8086 USB ports. This PC is going to be a little bit different from most. Now again, the Snapdragon PCs will be available in normal sort of laptop form factors. Now once you actually get into Windows, you'll find that, well, it looks exactly like Windows. Now it does have some limitations because it is using a Snapdragon processor, but on the other hand, one of the big advantages here is that we actually do have built-in E. So if I slide a pocket in here, what we're getting here is essentially, well, exactly what you would expect with your. The idea is because the Snapdragon 2 has E and all the coms and stuff built in, it's as simple as adding a couple putting a SIM card slot, and you have a PP that in theory can be completely connected all the time. At least when it comes to initial impressions, the performance is pretty good on this guy. Snap in mind. This guy ships running Windows 10s. Now that's fine, but I think pretty much everyone's going to want to upgrade to Windows 10, which is going to allow you to run third-party that are from outside the Windows Store. Now the issue here is that while this will run everything, it needs to be at the very least an 86X, so no 64X stuff. And as far as driver support, this actually doesn't support standard drivers. You do need to get specific ARM drivers, which at this point are basically non-existent. However, for most games, most apps, most programs, they're at least going to work somewhat on here out of the box. It's a little difficult. So while it will run standard Windows apps that are x86 based, such as Geekbench 835, the issue is that it's running it in a compatibility mode. Now it means that it will work, but you're not going to be getting that full performance, and you can see that in the numbers. So take a look at the scores compared to a Snapdragon 2 phone, which is running on native code, and you're seeing that you're getting a little bit less than half the standard performance. It's fine, but you do notice this basically the performance option that you can get on this if an app such as Geekbench is recompiled with Snapdragon, but you're probably going to be getting much more similar performance to what you actually get on However, all of that being said, you have to keep in mind that while it's not going to be crazy high end, you're getting pretty specs here. I mean, that Snapdragon 835 is going to give you 8 cores, 4 gigs of RAM. It's no slouch. One area this is really noticeable is when it comes